Now, for my testimony, in 1964, I was diagnosed with malignant brain tumor, and I was supposed to die. My parents took me to UCLA Medical Clinic. They examined me. They did surgery. They opened me up. I still have the scar, but once they opened me up, there was nothing they could do. They said the tumor was inoperable. So imagine, my mother was 21 years old at the time. Imagine you're 21 years old mother, and your son is being sent home to die. That's pretty dramatic. So my Uncle Charlie had visited a priest named Padre Pio. And so he came to the house in Downey, and he came to the house in Downey to console my parents, to console me. And he started to tell the story on Padre Pio. Now we met Padre Pio. How we met Padre Pio is he flew with the Father Hanley to the Vatican, okay, because he had this premonition, I'm going to meet a man down on the mountain. So he flew to the Vatican, and Father Hanley had contacts with the Vatican, so they broke a dish of pasta with Pope John the 23rd, and then my uncle said, well, now I met a man, being Pope John 23rd, on a mountain. The Vatican sits on a mountain. So he thought that was it. Wrong. He went to St. Mary Major, another basilica in Rome, and he picked up this pamphlet on Padre Pio. He said, well, I have to meet this man. The story starts from there. So anyhow, going back to Downey, my Uncle Charlie came over to the house to console me, console my parents, talking about Padre Pio. And the wounds of Padre Pio sent off a scent of roses. So we're in Downey at the time, 1964. Downey's very industrial, no trees, no plants, anything. And we're all sitting around, and all of a sudden this gust of wind came up. And this gust of wind came with the scent of roses. At that point in time, all my parents and my Uncle Charlie started to laugh because they knew that it was destined to see Padre Pio. So my parents got together, all the family pitched in the money because we had no money, and all the family pitched in the money. We went to San Giovanni Rotondo. We went to Rome, then took an 14-hour plane ride to Rome, then another 8-hour bus ride to San Giovanni Rotondo. It was a long day. And we went to San Giovanni Rotondo, Santa Maria del Grassi. We were greeted by Father Alessio at the door. Father Alessio said that Padre Pio, after the 5:30 a.m. Mass, would go by the monastery. He would greet you there. So we attended the 5:30 a.m. Mass. Amazing. It was like Walmart on Good Friday. I mean, people, just a cattle call, herded in to attend his Mass. There was standing room only. And when Padre Pio would go into that, when he would do Mass, on occasion, he would go into ecstasy. And when he would go into ecstasy, Mass could last 4, 5, 6 hours, a long time. So Padre Pio came out of Mass, came into the monastery and seen me. And he approached me. My father said he was 77 years old, ill, gray, but he came over to me because he had love for children, including you. He had love for children, so he would just light up like a Christmas tree. He went to go put his hand on my head. This part I remember. I remember this stranger putting his hand on my head. I couldn't understand why. And he goes to put his hand on my head, and I looked at my father. I'm thinking of my grandfather and my uncle and my father all wearing Old Spice. So I smell roses. I looked at my father and said, Daddy, I smell something funny. So he blessed me, and he said to my father, my parents, my mom and dad, that he would offer his life in the Mass the following day, to come back the following day. So again, we attended Mass, we went into the monastery. Again, he blessed me, and he said that the Lord had healed me. So my parents were overwhelmed. You know, I was not 3 years old, so I didn't care. So anyhow, the Lord healed me. Padre Pio instructed my parents to take me back home and have my exam at UCLA Medical Clinic. Well, my parents couldn't understand why. Padre Pio said the Lord, or the Lord through him, it healed me, my brain tumor, but they obeyed. So they took me back to California. I went to UCLA Medical Clinic. They examined me. I'm not clear what they did because MRIs weren't invented then, but they determined the tumor was gone. It was a miracle. And I'll never forget my mom. My mom stands 5 foot tall, 100 pounds dripping wet. Dr. Bach, the neurosurgeon, stood like 6'2", atheist. My mom simply looked at him and said, "Tell me there's no God now." So this photo right here was taken. Padre Pio blessing me, and you'll see the shawl that Padre Pio was wearing, the shawl that was on me. Now the mystery of this photo. Number one, there were no cameras allowed in the monastery in 1964. Now, the miracle took place in October. We have November, which I saw the third birthday, which I wasn't meant to see. And then we have December. My mom told me the story that she received a Christmas card in the mail. The Christmas card was by Padre Pio. And in there was this photo. So, to this day, 62 years later, we still know who took the photo. Wow. Emmy, if you want to pass these out to anybody that's interested.
When's your birthday, Rocky?
November 12th.
Happy birthday.
In the book Acts 9:12, right out of the Bible, it simply says that people would take a cloth, the Bible says apron, I say cloth. The people would take a cloth to St. Paul, touch St. Paul, bring it to the sick, and the sick would be healed. Well, to me, Padre Pio was a disciple of Christ, just like St. Paul was. And that's the cloth.